Just sing in the rain. What a glorious feeling. Kia ora! Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona, where it has been a very, very wet day. Yes, it has been unbelievably wet today. It has been awesome. Hang on, I don't even remember what I typed for today. So it's bringing it up on my phone. So, there it is. Okay, so how was your Serenity Sunday? Mine's been incredible. So Serenity Sunday is all about rest and relaxation, recharging your batteries. So what did you do today to relax, recharge your batteries, get ready for an awesome week coming up? Let us know in the comments below. We went for our Sunday mystery drive this morning. We did our live from wherever we were. In fact, I didn't even look up to see how far we got. I think we're somewhere in North Phoenix. I think. I don't know. But when we left, it was overcast. There was a little bit of sun. I did not need my sunglasses. And we went for a drive, and I thought, well, we've been down 107th before, and we normally turn off here. What happens if we keep going down 107th? Where will we end up? We ended up back at Bell Road again after taking a couple of turns because the street went down and went around the corner and around another corner. And I thought, we've been west on Bell, which took us all the way out into the middle of nowhere. We followed the road around this big corner, came back to the I-10. But we've never been east on Bell very far. So we went east on Bell, and we just kept going and going and going. We ended up the eastern side of the I-7. We passed the 101. At the 101, there was this big accident underneath the overpass, which we managed to get around okay. Everybody was out of the cars. Looked like everybody was okay. Just sitting on the side there, waiting for everybody to show up with the police, the tow vehicles, and all that sort of stuff. And kept going. Went underneath the 17, so we're on the east side of the 17 of the I-17, and pulled into this little shopping center there, which turned out to be on the corner of Bell and 3rd. And there was a Starbucks there. I haven't had Starbucks I honestly cannot remember the last time I had Starbucks. I think I was in San Diego the last time I had Starbucks, back before I started my road trip last year. And even that was well before that. So it's been a long time since I've had Starbucks, but I just had a craving for chocolate, and they have this really yummy double chocolate or triple chocolate frappuccino. It's really yummy, and it has no coffee in it. It's just chocolate. So I needed a chocolate fix, so I called it. And then on the board, they had some of the new menu items, and one of them was kale and mushrooms. They were these little things about yay big, and they were kind of like little frittatas or something. And so I ordered those, and then there was a bacon, egg, and cheese thing that I ordered as well. And so after we did the live, we're sitting there in the car, and of course Zeffie's that's why she was whining so much, because she knew I had food in the car. She could smell it, and I wasn't giving her any. But she got some cheese out of the bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. She got some of the egg out of there. And then I was trying the kale. It was kale and portobello mushroom eggy thing. And they were really good. Oh my gosh, that was so yummy. And you get two little ones in this little dish thing. And they give you a knife and fork. And I didn't even see the knife and fork till after I'd eaten the two. But Zeffie got some of that. And she was like, her head was like right over my shoulder here. Like, can I have some more? So yeah, she got a little bit of that. I wasn't sure how she would react to kale and mushroom, but the egg I knew she'd be fine with, but she absolutely loved it. So, and she's been fine all day. I've been keeping an eye on her. She's been eating and drinking water, and just normal, no after effects from it whatsoever. So I made sure the bits that I gave her didn't have mushroom in it, but it was really, really yummy. So if you get to try those if you like kale and portobello mushrooms, they've got these little eggy frittata thingies with them in. They are really, really good. And so at that point, we decided to head back. And of course, driving along at a stoplight, and all of a sudden my phone starts going berserk with the emergency signal, that big bah, bah, bah thing. So I pulled out my phone because it was either an Amber Alert or Weather Alert, and it was talking about flash flooding and all that. And I looked ahead, and there were all these black clouds ahead, and you could see the rain coming down. And I'm like, great, I'm driving, and I got to go that way, and I got to drive right through that. Okay. And so, we kept driving, and it started getting a little wet. And then the rain started coming down a little harder. It got to the point where I could not hear anything inside the car. It was so loud. And then all of a sudden the surface flooding was there. And, the water wasn't that deep, but there were people who were driving way too fast for the conditions. And in some areas they were going, they were close to I stayed in the middle lane. That seemed to be the highest point of the road out of the 3 lanes I was in. And this one pickup truck comes, and one of these, big, I don't know, big pickup truck things comes racing down on my right side, on the passenger side. And I'm like going along, I'm like following the car in front of me. He's doing like 10 miles an hour. I'm behind him doing 10 miles an hour. I've got like 3 car just lengths between us. This guy comes down this pickup truck and rips past us. I have no idea what speed he was doing. But there was this huge sprays of water going everywhere. I mean, it was up over it was taller than his truck was. They were just massive water sprays. So I have no idea how much water he was actually driving through. But you could see that the drains were blocked up on that side, and the drain system just couldn't cope. It was unbelievable. But we hit that at the 101. And so from the 101 all the way back, which is, I think, about 5 miles, I think, we're doing like 10 miles an hour. And in some places, even slower than that. And so I finally made it up, and I purposely stayed out of that right lane because it was a lot of deep water there. And but I had to go into it to turn onto 99th to get down to where we are. And I was either going, right, we're either going 99th, 107th, or the 115, and trying to figure out how to get down to my road. And I figured, well, the 99th would be easier because it has a big drainage canal thing opened up in the middle of the road when you get partway down. And I figured that would be easier because there wouldn't be so much water around. Wrong. We get around the corner there, and I'm sort of like, okay, this time I'm going to stay in the right lane because the left lane was completely flooded. And then I'm like crawling along at 10 miles an hour. Nobody's overtaking me. Everybody's maintaining these big distances between each other, which was awesome to see, that people were taking things carefully. You'd come up to an intersection, you just start slowing down in case the lights decide to change. You didn't want to slam on brakes because you would just go through the intersection. Would crawl through the intersections, which seemed to be more flooded than the actual street was. Finally got up the area where the ditches, these big ditches, were down the middle of the road, and the water was just going over the curbs into these ditches. They had breaks between the walls on the channels so the water could flood in, but the water was coming across the road so fast that it was going up over the curbing into these ditches. And the ditches were probably about half full. And then I finally see this road coming up, and I'm like, okay, that kind of looks like where I have to turn. But it was, we got downpours going on. So you're looking, and the window wipers are going like crazy. And I discovered that when I slowed down, my window wipers slowed down a little bit, but when the rain got heavier, they speeded up. And it was just incredible. And so I found out, oh yeah, this is my intersection. And there was a truck well behind me. And so there was nothing in the left lane. I thought, okay, now I got to go over the left lane here. So I just slowly moved over, got there because it's an angle to turn onto this thing. And I'm like, okay, and I looked out the window and I could barely see the line of the lane on the driver's side, barely see it through the water. I mean, it was pretty deep there. And and of course it's running past me, and I'm sort of like, hopefully the water pressure is not enough that's going to float the car over, but we were good. And then we went around the corner and onto West Union and just crawled down there. And I got to the intersection, which is just before we get to the campground here. And I'm sitting there I'm in the middle of the lane. I think there's actually 2 lanes there, but I'm in the middle of the lane anyway. And I look over to my left, and there was this big whirl thing going, because it was one of those drain things, and you could completely see the grade of the drain because the water was just swirling around it, trying to get into this drain thing. It was causing this great big like whirlpool thing, and this guy decided he wasn't going to wait for the light to turn green, so he just gets it, and he's sitting opposite me. We're on a red light. He just slowly starts coming through the intersection and goes on. And I just look at him like, really? I look back up the light. It turns green. I'm like, you couldn't have waited a few more seconds. And then I get to the campground here, and I'm like, okay, what are the roads going to be like here? And there was surface flooding again, but I came up to the speed humps. Every time I came up to the speed humps were just like covered in water. They were creating like this mini rapid because they had the gaps between the speed humps. The water's trying to get through there, but it's going so fast that it was actually going over top of the speed humps. So it was quite cool. And then I get back here, pull up. There's a little bit of surface flooding on the site, but not much. The car's basically sitting in dry, but there was a little bit of water when I had to get out, like about an inch. And the rain is just like pouring down. And I'm like, okay. I'm like sitting there, I'm thinking, okay, we've got to get out of here, and I've got to get inside, and she doesn't like the rain. So I said, Zeffie, I'm going to go inside, and because there was no wind blowing, I said, I'm going to put the awning out, and then I'm going to come back and get you. And so I grabbed my notebook. My notebook with me. I grabbed my notebook and pen, because you never know when you're going to need to write down a note or something. Grabbed my notebook and pen, had the little Starbucks bag. So I had my trash in there, I had my water bottle in there, I had my notebook and pen in there, I had my sunglasses in there. So I grabbed my little Starbucks bag and I said, okay, Zephy, I'll be right back. And I had everything ready to go, got the key out. So I opened the door, jumped out of the car. Before I even got to the back of the car, I am drenched. And I was like, great, this is awesome, I love it. And so I got the door open and the water's just pouring off the top of the RV. And so I come inside and close the door, and I could hear her starting to cry. And I start pressing the button immediately I was not going to stand outside and do this, to put the awning out. The awning came out. I opened up the door. I put my bags and the keys and everything down, taken my phone off because that was sitting in my pouch. My earpiece, took that out, raced back out to the car and opened the door. And Zephy's just like sitting there just looking at me like, what do you think you're going to do? And so I picked up her leash in one hand and I reached across, unclipped her harness, and I went to grab her. And she's like, I'm not being grabbed. And I managed to drag her towards me enough that I could pick her up, turned around, slammed the door closed, and got her underneath the awning, and then put her on the ground, holding onto her harness because she was not on a leash. And I'd left the door open, but I had to close. I reopened the screen door because it had closed itself. So I opened that and said inside, and she just went up the stairs. And then she's like shaking it off like she's got all this water on her. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I was curled over your body. You should not be wet. The only thing that should be wet should be your paws. And but yeah, I was absolutely drenched by the time we got inside. It was awesome. Loved every minute of it. And then so I did a quick live about our trip. It was amazing. You couldn't see out the windows at all once you got back to the RV. The screens were plastered against the windows. Now the sun's out and everything's drying out. And so we had by that stage it was like 10:30 in the morning, and I did some stuff, got my stuff all ready for tomorrow. So I've got my notebooks ready, my guides, or my manual for the week is ready, all flagged and everything else, and got some highlights going on in there. So that's all ready to go. And then I was sort of like, I'm just going to go take a nap. And so Zephy was already in bed, in the bedroom asleep. And so I just curled up next to her and went to sleep. And at one point I woke up and her nose is like right here. And I was sort of like, hi, give her scratches. And then she got up, turned around and went back to sleep again with her butt next to me and her head away from me. I'm like, gee, thanks. But we probably slept for about 3 hours or something. And then I got up, had some lunch. And this is how late it was. We're laying there. Sit down and thought, we'll go watch a movie. We watched Born Identity. So I thought, let's go watch Born Supremacy, because I got all 5 Born movies on DVD. And so we put the second one in, and I had already had the second one loaded, so I turned it on. And then my alarm and my time, but this thing, you could not sleep, because this thing was emergency messages, like, and then there was like these ding-dings, 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 and it was all these flash flood warnings coming from one of the weather apps, and this thing was like constantly going on like this. So it wasn't much of a nap, but laid there for a few hours. And so I'm sitting down in the recliner to watch this thing, and my phone did dings again, and I'm like, what the hell's that? That's a calendar thing. What the heck have I got on today? I have nothing on my calendar. I looked at it, it's got orientation in like half an hour, and I'm like, I forgot about orientation. So I got on the orientation for this coming week. I was still fired up from yesterday, and even more so fired up today, and discovered now that I have even more cousins and the thing, because a lot more people have been registering on the program and joining the group that we have. It's called Relative Finder, and we've got a group in there for the conference so you can meet up. They actually have a competition going to see how many cousins you connect with. Not, yes, I am connected to them on a family tree, but how many you actually connect with, like you email them. How many cousins do you email and who responds back to you? So I'm going through the list now. I've got a spreadsheet, because you can download a CSV file of the group that you are connected with. And that shows you family connections. And they're like 14th, 15th, 16th, 8th cousins, that sort of stuff. Nothing close in. I'd be very surprised if I got anything less than an 8th cousin here. And so I'm just going through what I was doing before this was going through the spreadsheet and adding in their email addresses. So looking them up in the attendee in the attendee handbook and just copying the email addresses across, because they have the document locked that you cannot copy the email address to then put them in the email and email them. And I'm so like, well, that kind of sucks. So I got my spreadsheet because I also want the information that was downloaded from the group, as far as this is my line, so it's got MMFF whatever, so it's either mother or father, and it shows you which way through your tree it goes, and then it's from their side, from where they start all the way up, and then who the common relative is that we, or ancestor that we have down the line, who our common grandparent is. And so it's got all of that information on there. And so I'm just making a complete database of, this is their email address, this is where they're located, this is when I first emailed them, and did I get a response from them. So, but it's going to be awesome. They have, during the lunch breaks, where you get to have virtual lunches together. So they have a Zoom room set up. So you leave your class Zoom room, you then go into the lunch Zoom room, and they put you into breakouts. So the first day it's cousins. And I'm like, oh, cool. So you get to go into these rooms and stuff, and is anybody in there related to you in any way? What were the other ones? So there was cousins one day. I clicked something, I don't know what I clicked. Another one is ancestors, so I'm not sure what we're going to do on that day. We've got a food festival on Wednesday, have no idea what that's about. And then on Thursday we have the fan club, and fan stands for family, associate, and neighbors. And basically they're going to be putting you into groups based on where you're located. And when I signed up for this, I have my California address down, so now I've sent them a change of address so that they can update my files and everything and put me in the right group for those that are in Arizona. So it's going to be a phenomenal week. I think the ancestors one, it's which ancestors we have in common. And so the first one is just the first lunch we do on Monday. It's a free-for-all. They're just going to throw you into random rooms. But on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you're going to be put into specific groups based on your ancestors, based on, what was it? I'm not sure about the food festival thing, in the fan club, based on where you're located. So so it's going to be a lot of fun. So they've got all these different activities going on. Then they've got evening activities on as well, where they have, they've got 2 of the certification places there. One is board certified, is the board certification, and the other one is, what's the other one? It's an international certification. And both of them are talking about how this is how you qualify and how you get into it. And then they have a Q&A session. So like, oh, great. Then I discovered that the one on Wednesday night that I would love to go to, which is my board certification, because I'm working towards that. I wanted to go and get more information about it and see if I get any hints and tips. But it's on at the same time, and then they have a presentation on as well, so you get to choose to go to one or the other. And I'm like, damn it, because they have one on the West Indies, which are islands in the Caribbean, and talking about their history, their culture, how to research it and all that. And I'm like, I need to go to that one because I have a client I'm working with who originates from the Windies, from the West Indies. And so I really want to go to that, but at the same time they have the sports certification one. I'm like, which one do I go to? And then on Monday night, they have about passing genealogy, getting younger generations interested in genealogy when they're kids or whatever. And I thought, well, that was easy for me because I just use photo albums and storybooks. And then they have the other international certification. So I may go to the international certification one that night because that's another certification I want to get. So it's been a go, 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 go. And I've done all the messaging I need to for this. No, I've still got a couple of things I need to do before I start the things tomorrow. So I'm ready to rock and roll tomorrow. Foods and snacks are all ready to go. It's going to take me like 5 minutes to throw things together, if that. But yeah, I am super pumped up for this week because yesterday was so incredible, and that was just the expos on how to use familysearch.org. And I was like, wow, there's just so much. They have expanded their website so much and added so much content to it. I am super excited to get in there and start researching with some of the stuff that I have to research and things. I still haven't figured out exactly which relative I'm going to use for the homework. So I'm hoping when they talk about it tomorrow first thing, that they tell us that. But they also gave us, gone through Google Docs and they've sent us, you've got the attendee handbook, like who's attending, where they're from, what names are they searching. So we had to give them names that we were searching. And then the other book we got is the Navigator, and then there are the links, the Zoom links specific to our classes. So when we go and then we click on the Zoom link, it takes us straight to the class. And so they have thought this out so well. The organization for this is incredible. Yeah, they had some problems with the registration at first, and they realized that. They've listened to it. They've now got a new server coming in for next year. There's new stuff that you have to do for next year to enroll, and we'll find out about that towards the end of the year. But everything so far that I have received from them, from the course manuals to the attendee handbooks to the navigator, is so well thought out. They've got all the email addresses in there. If you need help, go to this email address. If you need help, go to this one. Make sure you have these domain names flagged as safe domain names so that you'll get the emails. They've thought out everything. And we had an hour-long orientation, and I took, a page of notes. But it's just so well thought out, so well put together, and I'm just sort of like, all I got to do now is go to class, and I can't wait. It's like, I am super excited. So tomorrow morning's live will be very, very early. I don't know exactly how early because I have to be in class by 7:30. That's when class starts. So I'm always there at least 10 minutes early. So it'll be sometime before 7:20 in the morning is when the live will be. If I miss that, then it'll be at the first break. And I don't remember what time the first break is. Maybe I will do it at the first break so I can let you know how it's going. Maybe we'll do that. I don't know. We'll see how the morning goes after getting up, showered, dressed, walking the dog, having breakfast. But tonight when I go, my desk will be completely cleared except for my manual and my note-taking book and my computers. And that's it. That's all that's going to be. And my pens and Post-its are sitting right here. I'm basically ready to go. And the textbooks will be sitting on the floor there for easy access. I am super pumped up, ready to go. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, I'm super excited about this coming week. So what have you got planned for this week? What excitement are you looking forward to this week? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget, this Friday at midnight Pacific time, our entries get closed for the havetowin.com, where you've got, because I don't have the tumblers on my desk because they are superb. They're not needed for the classes this week. But remember, go to Have to Win. You'll get into the free drawing to win one of those engraved tumblers, either pink or black. You get to choose. And you'll also receive a free copy of Family Tree Decoded, the article, which is an ebook, the articles, What Unicorns Can Teach You About Magic, and 5 easy ways to make your life more exciting. Well, I figured out a big one was like, go take some classes on something you have a passion about. But anyway, that's it. I'm out of here. We'll catch you bright and early tomorrow morning for Magic Monday. Yes, it's going to be a very magical day tomorrow. So have a super fantastic, sparkling evening. Hey, Konera.